1 corruption block at the top of the world and 1 crimson block at the bottom of the world. Which one is going to spread faster? In today's video, we're going to be doing a time lapse of the corruption spread and the crimson spread. As you can see on the map, they are in 2 identical arenas, and we're just going to let them spread out, and there's some glass in between just so that they don't compete with each other. This is going to be like the video I released the other day. You can click the link in the description to watch that if you haven't already. And that was a 50-hour time lapse of the corruption spreading. And what you're looking at on the screen right now is how much a single block of corruption spreaded over 50 hours. This is why once you get to hard mode, it's very important to cleanse your world and don't let it spread too much, because your world will just get engulfed by the corruption. If you play your world for dozens and dozens of hours, your world is going to be absolutely covered by corruption or crimson blocks. So of course it's time to see if they spread at exactly the same rate. Stay tuned guys, be sure to hit the thumbs up if you're liking these types of videos, and let's get straight into it. Here is the first hour of crimson spread summarized into 30 seconds. We can see from this that it starts off really slow, but as more blocks get into the game, it speeds up rapidly, and you can see the exponential growth here. At the end, we ended up with 239 blocks in the first hour. But how does this compare to the corruption? So we have the corruption here, and this is 1 hour also, and by the end of the corruption spreading we had 366 blocks. So there is quite a bit of a difference between the crimson and the corruption in the first hour. But is this down to random chance? Will it even out over the course of 50 hours? Let's investigate. So after this we're going to go full time lapse, but let's just take a look at hour 2 and how quickly the crimson and corruption developed. So as we can see, it is now starting to develop rather quickly, and by the end of the crimson developing over 2 hours, we had 1,498 blocks, so 1,500 blocks. The corruption spread faster, but that would make sense since it spread quicker initially. So the corruption ended up with 2,106 blocks. So the corruption is leading by 500 blocks. Now it is time to do the full time lapse side by side, and we'll see how they develop over the 50-hour time period. So here is the arena, and I have the time set to 20 times faster. So this is going 20 times faster than how it would be in the actual game, but it's still very quick. So if you imagine every 3 seconds as a minute, it does spread out fairly quickly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom out. We're going to watch it grow over 10 hours. And just look at this. I find it so interesting how it almost looks like spilt water or something that is slowly growing in size. It's like bacteria or something. I don't know. It looks very strange. So if we take a look at this, we can see that they do seem to have the same spread rate. I think the only reason why the corruption may be slightly bigger is because it got a bit luckier at the beginning, and that caused it to grow a lot quicker at the start. But if we look at the rate of development now, it looks about the same. The circles also look just about the same at this point. And here is the game in real time. This is the actual speed of the game, and nothing seems to be happening. Can we see a block grow? Yes, I just saw one over this way. Let's watch that again. So this is how quickly it can actually develop in game. If you have a lot of corruption or crimson, you can actually see it growing in front of your eyes. And this is why the contaminator is so important, and it's very important to keep your world in check, just to make sure it doesn't get overrun by the corruption or the crimson. Okay, now it's time to look at the results, and if we take a look at this, we can see just how fast the corruption and the crimson grows. But remember, this is over 50 hours of real life time, so that is over 100 Terraria days and 100 Terraria nights. So even though it looks like it's growing incredibly fast, it's still not mega fast. But if you do intend to play a Terraria world for a long time, it shows that you really have to be very careful about the corruption or the crimson, and you want to try and decontaminate as much as possible, just so that it doesn't overrun your world. If you're going to be playing for like 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours, then it's probably going to infect almost everything it can. So having barriers and the contaminator used is very useful. So what does this tell us? I think that these definitely grow at the same rate, and the only reason why there's slightly more corruption is because it got a bit luckier earlier on. When there was just a single block, it managed to spread a bit faster, but now that there's hundreds of thousands of blocks, they do seem to travel at exactly the same rate. So it's confirmed that corruption and the crimson do spread at the same rate. And now it's time for the run through. So it's very hard to grasp just how much it's traveled on the map viewer. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run through it. We're also going to teleport as well, just to see how far it has traveled in the 50 hours. So we have covered this in the last video, so I'm just going to quickly teleport through it. But just look at this. It's absolutely huge. So yes guys, I know I've said this like 3 times already, but the takeaway point is if you're going to be been on a world for a long time, be sure to try and contain and decontaminate your world, or it's going to be absolutely filled with either crimson or corruption. So that is all for today guys. I have many more videos planned for the future, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Have a great day guys, and I shall see you guys later.